Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this January 11th version of AM Live on EOA. Your connection to Eastern Oregon, and we're on the EOA network.
Yep.
Hey, how are you, man?
The days are just flying by already. I was just thinking about that. It's crazy. It's first Friday. We're already at the first Friday of the year.
I know it. I was looking at the calendar yesterday and making plans for the spring and stuff, and yeah, it just, you know how it is. It's just going to click by.
I was praying for spring yesterday.
Were you?
Yeah.
Man, it's been miserable,
Get through
hasn't
this
it?
crap.
Yeah.
I saw somewhere, and we'll talk about it more during weather, but it's like going to be like 3 days of of us freezing.
Yeah.
Basically, like really cold.
Yeah.
I'm not excited about that. There, on our social media the other day, so let me explain this to everybody real fast. I'm going to go on a little rant, and I don't do it too often, but this one is justified, and because it challenged our integrity, my integrity actually. All we do is share the high school games, the basketball games. We don't go up there and film those games. There's a camera that's mounted that follows the players around. Well, that camera has a timer on it, and it's 4 hours, right? I believe it's 4 hours. So when they start the stream up there, it times out after 4 hours. Uh-huh. So if somebody doesn't go and reset that in between the boys and the girls game, then it times out during the game. Well, there was a comment on our social media about us packing our cameras up and going home because LeGrand was getting beat. And it was bad. It was like 39-8 at half or something. But we would never, ever, ever do that, first off. If we were contracted to stream a game, we would stay regardless of the score. Yeah. We were not contracted. All we did was share the high schools. I even went the extra step and texted Goodman to tell him that it had timed out to try to get the stream started back up. I'm a fan of Baker. Their coach is my friend. I text him regularly. You know what I mean? I wouldn't just cut it off because they're kicking our butt. And somebody challenged that on Facebook, and so I gave him the address and my phone number, and I told him we could talk about the mission statement and what we do here if he really wanted to challenge the integrity of what we do. Yeah. Because, it's like, come on, man, really? You really think we would do that? No. That's what big networks do. If a team's blowing a team out, they'll switch to another game because nobody wants to see it. But if we're getting paid to stream a game, we're streaming the game. I don't care what the score is.
Well, and we have done basketball in the past, had a crew there and showed up and whatever the case might be, but our sponsors are paying for us to do the whole game.
Regardless of the score.
Regardless of the turnout.
It's not and he said something about, take your ball and go home to mommy in the comments, and I'm just like, that really fired me up. I'm like, really, dude? Do you really think that's how this works? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So, he was obviously a Baker fan.
Yeah. Well, what? Oh, yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, he was. I think he's from Baker.
So I got fired up about on social media the other day about something. So there's this, and she's been all over Instagram. There's this female volleyball player, and she's got crazy height. I sent you the
jumps. Yeah, she's not real tall.
No,
she just
but
jumps
Maya something. Yeah, anyhow,
I've seen her.
Yeah, and she's not. I don't think she's under 6 foot, but just her jumping technique is she puts her waist is almost at the top of the net.
She's got hops.
Yeah, it's crazy. So anyhow, but the guy who posts this, and this is where I engaged this company because they purposely hide her name. They do not put her name in the post.
Right.
And so you have to dig for it. And so I said, I commented how come you don't put the name in the post, And rather than answer the question, he said, yeah, I've taken this page from this many to 20,000 and clearly whatever he's doing works. And I said, yeah, but you're leeching. You're using somebody else's talent to grow your page.
That's 90% of social media.
Right.
DC.
Well, and so, yeah. But it was like, and so we went back and forth. I finally disengaged, but it's like, yeah, do the work.
Yeah.
I mean, well, and that was the problem. He responded back and like, yeah, but she wouldn't have near the following as what she has. I've grown her following. Like, well, who is her? He never, in our comments back and forth, he would not mention her name.
That's how it works, though. There's people that sit there and make a commentary video about somebody else's video, and then there's people that make commentary videos about the commentary videos.
Yeah,
it's
it is the most, but yeah,
or reaction videos.
And I guess I get that now, but in making a reaction video, that's pretty clearly like you're using somebody else's content. But this is more veiled, and that was the problem that I had. It's like, do the work, man. Well,
funny.
All righty. Well, hey, speaking of sports, why don't you do sports?
Do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit here in LeGrand, 411 First Street. They have everything you need for whatever hobby you have. They got Traxxas RC cars, they have Magic the Gathering, they have kendamas, they have STEM supplies for your kid. They have everything. It's awesome in there. Joe and his team, Hobby Habit, just for the fun of it. The LHS girls wrestling went to the Raleigh Lane tournament this last weekend. They placed third out of 73 teams. They had 3 top 5 finishers, with 2 girls finishing in 5th and 1 girl taking home 2nd place. I didn't get names, but I was asked to give them a shout out. And one of the things that I struggle with is the schedules. And I'll tell you guys this again. If it's not on their schedule, it's really hard for me to know where people are at. You know what I mean? Like, I get a schedule. I pay attention to OSAA schedules. If it's not on there, I have no clue. The boys basketball team lost to Baker on Tuesday night, 68-31. They play tonight at home versus McLaughlin at 7:30. The girls team also lost to Baker in their GOL home opener, 48-39. They travel to Fruitland tomorrow. That game will tip off at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Tonight at Quinn at 6 p.m., it's EOU men's and women's wrestling senior night. They're going to honor the seniors against Big Bend Community College. So if you have a chance to get up there and support Mountie Wrestling, do it. That team is awesome. Coach Azure and Coach Carbala have them rolling, and they're both top 25 teams, and they're fun to watch. They're tough. And not to mention, if you're from LeGrand or this area, there's a lot of LeGrand kids involved. You got Braden Carson, you got Parker Robinson, you got various others, Josh Collins, Delia Golzo. There's a lot of LeGrand kids involved in EOU wrestling, and that tradition is going to continue with them recently signing Kai Carson. That's the morning sports report brought to you by Hobby Habit, just for the fun of it.
All righty. Well, let's look outside.
Let's check it out.
Yeah, overnight it dumped another inch or 2. Yeah, so it's just, we're in the midst of it.
I walked to work today because it wasn't bad out.
Yeah.
And my car's got about this much snow on it.
Yeah.
But Chachis, who works for the city, he was out plowing on the four-wheeler. He goes and cleans up.
Yeah.
He takes the four-wheeler and cleans up the piles and stuff, and we stopped and talked for a while. And it's going to, once we see this forecast, you're going to see that the weather's not going to get better for a while.
Yeah, no, it's let's take a look at that. It's going to get cold and more snow.
Yeah.
13
degrees.
Yeah.
-4 is the low. -4 tomorrow.
-4.
Whoo.
It'll be chilly.
Yeah, you feel that.
So,
-4, 6, and 0 are the next 3 nights after tonight.
Yeah. So it means this. When it gets colder, the snow normally slows down, but it means it's going to be around for a while. It's not going to stick and go like what we have the pleasure of it doing sometimes. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, when we come back from break, she's the founder and executive director of You Play Disc Golf. She's a professional disc golfer. She's a LeGrand native, Zoe AnDyke, right after we get back.
Eastern Oregon is full of interesting people, with interesting minds and interesting things to say. Here at EO Live, we're committed to connecting you to these intriguing people with EO Talks. We let our special guests share their ideas and life experiences with deep, open, engaging, and inquisitive conversations. You'll also be informed in depth on some of the most recent and relevant events, issues, and more. EO Talks on EO Live, your connection to Eastern Oregon, now on Roku.
Welcome back, AM Live on EO Live. We are joined by, she's a friend of mine. We've known each other for over 20 years. She's the executive director and founder of Uplay Disc Golf. She's a professional disc golfer, and she's a LeGrand native, like I said, Zoe AnDyke. Zoe, how are you?
Great. Thanks for having me on. It feels good to be on a show in my hometown.
Yeah, right. We met up. It's been over 2 years ago now. Can you believe that? When you came to LeGrand to teach disc golf. I was looking at pictures of it this morning, and yeah, it's been over 2 years. So talk a little bit about growing up in LeGrand and how like your childhood and where you come from.
Well, growing up in LeGrand was awesome. Small town, you got the mountains, you've got just about anything you need for outdoor fun and recreation. And I actually grew up in the mountains up above LeGrand. Some of you guys, if you're heading, down the Island City Strip towards like where Morgan Lake is located, you look up and you see my parents' house. They actually still live there. So I just had like this amazing childhood up in the mountains, 10-minute drive down into town. I could get to LHS, like in under 10 minutes in the morning. And gosh, I just really appreciate my roots. I love everything about Eastern Oregon, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you ask people around here, especially people that aren't from here, that have moved here to go to college or whatever, and the common denominator is they love the area.
Yeah, you can't really find everything that the Grand Ronde Valley has to offer. Really anywhere. I've been all around the world, especially recently, and I'm always going to come back home to Oregon and then home to LeGrand. I live over on the west side right now and outside of the Willamette Valley, but it's really special for me to come home to LeGrand always.
So let's talk about a little bit about how you got started in disc golf and just kind of explain like what it was that piqued your interest and then how that journey began.
Yeah, well, fascinating enough, I actually found disc golf right there in LeGrand. One of my parents' neighbors set up kind of like a temporary course with what we call tone poles. Disc golf is actually a game where you're throwing a disc, or commonly known as a frisbee, into a chain assembly basket. But the course that was kind of private and where I started was right up next to my folks' house off of Morgan Lake Road. And Trent, a local shop owner of the Bobolink, he actually was the guy that I consider the father of disc golf in Eastern Oregon. And he showed pretty much everybody, all the friend group, how to play this game. So I started playing right up there in my backyard virtually. And then when I moved to Bend, Oregon for my first PE teaching job was when I actually first played a real course on professional equipment. And I was like, whoa, this is a real game and you can compete and there's tournaments and you can go professional. I'm in. So this was my later in life sport. I grew up playing volleyball, swimming, track. I dabbled in some basketball. I never got to snowboard because of all those sports. So as I turned 21 and moved to Bend, Oregon, I started snowboarding and I started really playing a lot of disc golf. I started looking up tournaments. I was like the weekend warrior as an amateur, going all over Oregon, Washington, and Idaho looking for these disc golf tournaments and really trying to figure it out. And, back in 2012, that's actually when I turned professional. So I found the sport in 2005, go pro in 2012, told my family and friends I was just going to try the disc golf professional tour for 1 year. And here I am in 2024, never going to leave the tour, never going to stop crushing, and never going to stop trying to be innovative and sharing and spreading the love of disc golf, because it absolutely is where I found my happiness and my place.
Nice. We have some pictures to show of you involved in disc golf and in UPlay, and we'll kind of talk about the transition. When you were teaching, obviously you had to go to college for that, and it's a big leap to go from teaching to being a professional disc golfer. Talk about that a little bit.
Those men that were way better than I am. And so I was like, man, how are kids ever going to learn? And how are people ever going to get this knowledge and get this information on how to get into the sport? It's pretty secret. There's like, you got to know somebody that knows how to play, and you got to know somebody to play with and get better. And I just wanted to change that. Being a natural coach and teacher, I wanted everybody to experience this happiness that I'm experiencing. So I decided, I'm going to continue on this tour, but I need to fulfill something inside of my heart, and the reason I'm put on earth is to teach and coach. So better start doing it for disc golf.
Yeah. With disc golf comes UPlay. And we have a quick video that kind of talks about UPlay. We'll go to that. When we come back, we'll talk more about UPlay.
UPlay Disc Golf is your passport to teaching and learning the game. Our mission? To teach disc golf and make it accessible to everyone worldwide. From Alaska to Africa, Guatemala to Canada, and beyond, UPlay Disc Golf has spread its wings, teaching the love of the game across the globe. Get involved in our movement to make disc golf a universal joy. Explore uplaydiscgolf.org and join us in helping people find flight.
All right, why UPlay? Why the name? Why UPlay?
Oh my gosh, just watching that video, I get so hyped. I don't know if you guys noticed, but LeGrand is in there with shots of Juneau and Haines, Alaska, is in there with shots with Guatemala. That video, really cut together well, speaks to my heart. But why UPlay? Let's talk about the name first. You see that underline underneath the U? It stands for Universal Play Disc Golf. So I believe anything, anyone, and everyone in the universe can play. It's the most accessible sport I've ever found. I've taught disc golf to the blind community, to the deaf community, all kinds of special needs groups or, classes like that. And then, of course, it does not discriminate any type of culture, any race. There's just no group of people disc golf discriminates. So UPlay is Universal Play Disc Golf. It's the best acronym ever. One of my board members, who's a 4-time world champion in our sport, her name is Valerie Jenkins. She actually is the reason we have such a cool name. It actually started off Disc Golf Universal Play, so DGUP, and that acronym kind of sucked. Actually, nobody liked DGUP. What are you gonna say? DGUP. So UPlay, Universal Play Disc Golf, obviously is better. And so we went with it, right away, just starting off strong after we got our letter of determination from the IRS back in 2017. So we're about 6.5 years old roughly. And why disc golf? I mean, I kind of already answered that. It's for everybody. There's literally nobody that can't pick up a disc and just give it a try. You don't have to throw far. You don't have to be super athletic. I've seen people, under 5 feet all the way to 6'5" playing this game. The youngest person I've ever taught personally was 3 years old. The oldest person, 99. And that man still water skied, so he was just an anomaly and incredible. But disc golf is for everyone. They use it for rehabilitation. They use it for all kinds of different therapies, whether it's adult assisted living, old folks home. We've put it into some kind of after prison kind of assisted halfway house type of programs. But you play. I mean, my whole thing is teaching children. I started off as a high school PE teacher. So I was in early days, even as an amateur disc golfer before teaching professional, I was putting this into my free reign of curriculum at the Academy at Sisters. So I was starting to figure out early ways to teach all the way back when I was playing amateur. And then, all these years later, I'm going to bring out a little prop here. Got a curriculum book out, and it took me 2 years to write this, but in 2021, Dustin Keegan, Valerie Jenkins, and myself finally published the first edition of the You Play Disc Golf Basics curriculum. And we put it out for teachers. So it's a pretty awesome book that you would want PE teachers to get their hands on. Then shortly after having it out, I put it into all kinds of schools as we were on our educational teaching tour. And I gathered feedback from not just teachers, but from other top touring professional disc golfers. And in under a year's time, we decided we had to edit it, add to it, make it more robust. And now we have the You Play Disc Golf second edition curriculum book already out. Came out last May. And then at the end of this month, we will have an even smaller pared down version for like your local community coach, your interested individual that wants to teach themselves disc golf, and everything, of course, teachers and then students of all ages can use it. So I feel like the book, the experience, the teaching tour that we design every year, You Play is doing its job and it's doing its part. The mission was to always make the world a happier, healthier place through using disc golf, and it's working, and it's awesome.
That teaching tour included a stop in LeGrand in 2021, late 2021. It was right during COVID. Talk about that a little bit. Not the COVID part necessarily, just what was it like to bring your sport and your passion and your love and this foundation that you founded back to LeGrand?
Well, I gotta give Eastern Oregon a shout out. In all my sports, everything I ever did and accomplished in Eastern Oregon, I felt like the community was behind me. They were behind Zoe AnDyke, and they were behind all the sports teams I was on. And to actually bring You Play and this awesome curriculum, it wasn't just me alone that wrote the book. It is my original teachings and designs, and then I had to take it to, some of my colleagues in the sport that have got bigger accolades than even I do and that have taught in it. But to bring it to LeGrand High School and LeGrand Middle School, and to see someone like Bill Waldrop teaching, he's one of the PE teachers there at LHS. Yeah. I believe he's still there. And Wolcott, to be working side by side with some of my peers that I grew up with, and to be doing it it's actually a new gym compared to when I went to school there. That's like state of the art LeGrand High School gym. But to be in those walls and in that building, something, I had the chills the whole time. Something felt different. To be able to share it with my community and give back to my community. The nonprofit is designed to make disc golf free for schools. And as a PE teacher, my department, I was always told we can't spend money. And so to gift disc golf and to show what I've put my life's work into LeGrand actually was it's like winning worlds for me. It's like the ultimate title of teaching, bringing it home.
So Zoe, I have a question. Is there, and I'm sorry for my ignorance, I don't know. I mean, I agree that the disc golf, throwing a Frisbee is age old, and that is so cool because you're right, it brings in a lot of people. And I see some of the social media videos of, people threading a disc golf between trees or something like that, and is there a division between male and female? And are females able to compete more equally across the board? That's one question. And then how much does physical conditioning contribute to all of that? Because accuracy is this huge part of it also. I didn't talk about that. I don't know much about any of that.
Yeah. So there is a men's division and a women's division, and there is all sorts of divisions that are from amateur all the way up to pro. So let me give you an example. If you're a newer female in the game, you're going to sign up for FA3, which is females amateur recreation division. Then it goes up to intermediate. Then you get into advanced. And then you would move to pro, FPO, female pro open division. The MPO, men's pro open division, is the kind of like the top of the top dogs. Anyone can play that, whether you claim, whether you're a cis-born female, a transgender, any division can sign up for the MPO division. But men cannot sign up for the women's division, which is really cool. They throw pretty far compared to us. But then there's also age protected divisions. So we have like all the different juniors categories. And then once you turn 40, which I just did last November, you can play the age protected, 40 and above. Then it goes 50 and above, and then increments of 5 years, 55, 60, 65 and beyond. And those are good things, because now getting into the physical conditioning, a 5-year difference once you're getting up there in age can make a huge difference in athletic capabilities. And then if you think about kind of the differences between men and women that I just talked about, quick example, the world record in the Guinness book for men, the farthest throw is something like 1,108 feet.
Wow.
So, more than like 3 football fields. And the record for women is just a little over 2 football fields, just right around 600 feet. And I believe those records are going to get broken this year, because the kids are just getting crazier and more talented every day. But you ask about conditioning, and when you're talking about the top touring professionals, absolutely, yes, they've got to be doing some different things to condition their hinges, stabilize their muscles. We're not talking about being super buffed out or anything like that, because that would actually be a problem. You don't want huge bicep muscles or traps that they would get in the way. You kind of want long muscles, more elongated, like swimming. A swimmer's profile is like ideal for top competitive disc golfers. But your everyday casual user and your everyday kind of family fun game or pickup game with friends, you really don't need to do much of anything except for right at the tee pad before you start playing, warm up your muscles like you would for anything, just walk around, do a couple jumping jacks. There's this really fancy and fun warm up called Disc Golf Strong. I'm actually sponsored by the coach of Disc Golf Strong, and they give you like 8 simple, quick movements to warm up before you throw, to keep you healthy. But it's really a matter of how far are you taking something, and like how hardcore do you want to get into the competitive level. So some of these top men and women on the Disc Golf Pro Tour right now, you see them working out 4 and 5 days a week and changing their conditioning. Like mid-season, they're almost doing nothing. Whereas on each side of the season, they're doing quite a bit of strength training and stabilizer muscle training to prepare them for the season. The season's long in disc golf. We're like February through October. So you have to do something to keep some balance in the body. If you're a right-handed thrower, your left hand and left shoulder, they're going to need something to counterbalance how much reps and movement are happening over here.
Yeah. So, it's so cool that you are so passionate about this. How did that conversation go with your family when you hey, I think I'm going to do this for a living? I mean, how did that go? How were they with that?
That wasn't something that happened quickly with the acceptance part of it. When I told my dad, I'm going to quit teaching professionally to chase a disc around the country, is essentially kind of what he was looking at. You're going to chase a disc around the country and maybe even the world. What are you doing? What's the purse? What's the payout for this? I want you to have a salary. I want you to have insurance and healthcare and all this stuff. And disc golf wasn't going to provide that back in 2012. It wasn't even going to provide it pre-COVID. And it was a lot of hard work and kind of showing my folks, even starting Uplay, they were like, nonprofit, what is this? What are you getting into right now? This seems like a really tough choice, little sister. Are you ready for this? This is going to be a harder, more fulfilling, but a harder way of going about making your money in life to make it happen. But they support me fully at this point. They're like the biggest fans of Uplay. They're the biggest fans of me, myself. My folks aren't super techie, but I even got them on the Disc Golf Network, and that is where I actually do professional commentary as well for the Elite Series events. And so, my folks are behind it now. They're regular donors every year, every holiday, giving season. They're donating to Uplay because they've actually seen it in action. I don't know if you remember this, Kyle, but when I was teaching in LeGrand, just like being at an old volleyball game or anything like that in the LHS gym, my mom got permission and she was right there watching every single class. She was especially there when my niece got to come in and play. And, that was pretty cool. But, the folks are seriously behind it now. They see how disc golf is just a little bit different than obviously mainstream, but even some of your knockoff sports. They see the family of disc golf, like that open arm kind of friendship around the world or around the country or the state. You meet another disc golfer, and not only are they obsessed, but they're going to offer you the shirt off their back, the couch that they have if you want to stay and play more, a meal. You name any spot in the world, and the disc golf family and community is so open-armed and giving and loving. And my folks see that, and they see how I've made a life out of this, and disc golf has literally taken me so many places I never would have gone. And so they think it's pretty cool now, but it took a little while.
Yeah. Professional disc golf wise, what's your 2024 plans?
Oh yeah. Thanks for asking. So I now am in a place, being 40 years old, where I'm balancing playing. I'm still playing a little bit. I'm still getting out there on the Pro Tour, the Masters Tour, and just here locally with a couple of big events. I'm going to play 10 big events personally this year. But then I commentate for 7 of the most elite level events, and I'm the females professional open division color commentator. So really, this is my 3rd year doing commentary. I love it. Those are huge events. And then I'm going to get to play Worlds this year because one of my co-commentators is going to do the World Championships. And I'm like, yeah, that gives me another chance to come back and play. I'm excited. But then the teaching tour, the Uplay teaching tour, let's talk about that because that's really how I base my entire year and my life at this point. So the partnership between the Disc Golf Pro Tour and Uplay brings us to all 18 stops on the United States Elite Series events. There's 18 stops around the states, and what Uplay does is picks a school or a youth organization if it's like springtime or summertime. And we work with the organization, the directors. We bring in top touring professionals. We teach disc golf, and then we donate all the equipment so that they can continue to enjoy the game in their PE program, or, if it's a camp or like a YMCA, their staff will still be able to teach it. Because again, we leave the curriculum book and then all the necessary equipment. So that's how that program works. If you guys look up Disc Golf Pro Tour, you can kind of see what the Elite Series Tour looks like online. And then our other biggest partner is the Paul Macbeth Foundation. And that relationship is supported by the Professional Disc Golf Association. PDGA International gives us grant funding to pick, between 2 and 4 trips internationally where the Paul Macbeth Foundation has built a course. We're their educational sustainability partners. So we will go and visit these course locations and teach all over the country, the province, the state, all over the area that the course is built within 6 months to a year of the course installation, so that the community has time to get used to disc golf, kind of play it a little bit. And then we bring in Uplay and all of our coaches to provide this training, and it's cool because we are seeing sustainable efforts. We don't just come in, teach, and leave, and then disc golf doesn't happen anymore. We come in, We certify coaches. We do professional development for teachers and professors. And we absolutely know, because we keep in touch, that the disc golf is still happening. So this year we're going to go to Colombia and then a revisit to Africa. There's going to be 3 locations. We went to Uganda and Kenya just this last October, but we'll be hitting up Zambia, a new location in Uganda that touches the Congo. And then if they're with any luck, we're going to also get over to Ethiopia. There's disc golf there and in Zimbabwe. So we have a 5-year kind of build out for the African project. And then I'm really excited to announce this. This is a personal, a Uplay, and a no commentary here, but I'm going to New Zealand. I leave on January 20th, and I'll be there for 1 month teaching disc golf in 4 different locations once a week. And then Zoe AnDyke, the player, gets to play the tour down under. So 4 events in 4 weekends. And in the middle of that is the New Zealand National Championships. So not only am I coming back out to try my hand at the contesting side of it, but I get to work with some of the local Kiwis and some of those local expats down on the ground to certify them as coaches. What a cool opportunity. I'm going to paradise to teach and play.
Speaking of the Africa trip, we have a quick video to play, and when we come back, we'll talk about it.
1, 2, 3. Disco! And this is your membership dollars hard at work. Thank you so much for the PDGA supporting You Play Disc Golf and Paul Macbeth Foundation. Thank you so much.
Okay, so the Africa trip, that was this last October, and you reached out to me, and when you did, there was obviously something pulled at your heartstrings about this trip. Talk about it.
Well, Africa changed my life, personally and Uplay. What do I mean by that? Uplay has gone to other countries and all over the U.S. teaching disc golf and doing a great job of providing like one of the most joyful days ever for a child. But you're talking about really taking it to the next level when we talk about healthier and happier communities. We go to Africa, and I mean, I was working on this project for a little over 9 months with some of our what we call project drivers on the ground. And what we did in partnership with PMF is established community leaders. So these community leaders aren't necessarily the ones that are teachers or the ones that are responsible for going out there and teaching more of the masses locally, but these community leaders are going to identify who are the teachers, who are maybe the club or people responsible for bringing people together for community disc golf outside of school, and then who are the people that are going to continue to hold this torch, and then who are the people that are going to maybe train and compete and try to get into this disc golf worldwide competition. So I went to Africa, and I realized that Uplay is way more responsible than just teaching disc golf. We're responsible for the emotional health, the physical health, and kind of the spiritual health of people. If they want to come in and play disc golf, it's so much more than just a game and an outlet to get outside and spend some energy. It's like we're talking community leaders, organizing groups, taking care of leagues, taking care of teachers in schools. Now, I don't know about you, but when I hear all of the things I just said, Uplay is responsible for so much more than just like a fun game. We're helping people come together, and we're helping people feel that like badge of responsibility and taking up that leadership torch. And we're doing it all through disc golf. So I feel like Africa really opened my eyes. It set me up proper for going to a first world country in New Zealand and doing the same thing I did there, but doing it even better, because we have so much more than just disc golf. We have community leadership through disc golf that we're really pushing.
Yeah. What was the highlight of Africa for you?
Oh boy.
Or give me a few.
Well, I mean, I did go on a safari in both places. So personally, like seeing an elephant or a giraffe or, an ostrich
In the wild.
within like a putter's throw, and I can throw a putter pretty damn far, but it's like I was actually right next to those animals, and that was special. But that was for me personally. Kind of on a worldwide, like what I wish everyone could see scale. I saw a community and a culture, multiple cultures over there that don't have anything. They don't have anything. And you see kids, children, babies, toddlers, teenagers are running around these kind of dirt roads, these marketplace street areas, and they're just kind of hustling and they're trying to survive. Some of them are going to school, but basically as a culture, they don't have anything. And the folks that do have something, they still don't even know all of these amazing things that we enjoy every day. We wake up and we have our espresso machines and our lattes and coffees, and those people don't even know what it's like to wake up and have that as an option. And then you talk about, soccer, they call it obviously football over there. Football rules. They put a bunch of trash bags together and wrap it with duct tape, and then now they've got a soccer ball to kick. And I guess the biggest thing is seeing what they don't have and how appreciative they are for just about anything. I mean, they're one of the most hardest working cultures and the most competitive cultures, because you get rewarded in that culture. If you are good in sports talent, you're going to represent that country. You're going to get some scholarships, maybe some tuition paid. Actually, quick story. You play disc golf ran a PDGA sanctioned tournament, both the first one ever in Uganda and Kenya. And we didn't know this till after the tournament. I really wish the organizers on the ground would have told me, but check this out. For the students attending Ndeje University, which is where the main Ugandan course is, we didn't know that the dean of the university actually put up this prize, put up this huge, if you take first place, 15% off of your tuition, second place 10%, third place 5%. So now we're talking about like a lifeline. These African players are like, this means everything. This is like a couple months worth of my family's work to put me in school to make something of myself. And I'm going, wow, for just this disc golf contest, this makes all the difference in the world. And so if you think about just that little contest and the reward and what this new sport of disc golf is doing, they really don't have a lot. And it means something if you're participating and you're working hard to do something outside of just cause trouble, drugs, chaos, like there's all kinds of crime happening over there, but it's really special and unique if you find an African putting themselves into something, whether to compete at or to make their community better. That's more rare. And so I saw so much of willing, athletic folks wanting something to do and wanting something to like pour themselves into. It was pretty special. A side note, I know that I just kind of strayed a little bit, but I do want to talk about something special that happened in Africa after our visit, the Paul Macbeth visit, and then our visit. There's something called the East African Games, which essentially serves as like a few of those Eastern countries' Olympics. And disc golf has now been officially approved to be the 17th initiative. So we have universities, not just all over Uganda and Kenya, wanting disc golf and wanting to offer, teach, set up a team and play. But we have it looked at now as such an important sport to learn, practice, and become good at, because the university system is on board and turned it into one of those East African Games initiatives. The games only happen every other year. So I think that the training and like the value of competing and contesting and showing that you can get first, second, or third at one of those initiatives is like everything to that culture.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what a perfect sport for a third world country. It's very inexpensive.
Yep. Disc golf is free, you guys. I mean, of course, there's the initial 10, 15, or maybe an expensive premium disc, $20 entry buy-in. And then there's over 15,000 courses in the world that we have publicly registered on UDisc, which UDisc is your app to check out where to play disc golf anywhere. But I would say 95% of those are free. Maybe that number's higher. Private courses are pay to play. And then when you're at the top touring professional level, you're gonna be doing pay to play courses. And the most I've ever paid to play a top championship level course is probably $15 a round.
Wow.
So if you think about golf, yeah, that's a lot more accessible.
Yeah, a lot more. Couple more questions and then we'll get you out of here. If I had say like me or anybody new to disc golf, what are you going to tell me? Brand new. I've never even played one hole in disc golf.
Well, first of all, I'm going to ask you if you're ready to have some of the most simple fun of your life. And hopefully you say yes.
Yes.
You ready to have fun? Hey, who doesn't like having fun? Okay,
Yeah.
you don't. I'm not interested anyways. But so if you're ready to have the most fun of your life, it's so simple. It's so easy. Let's go play. And then I'm going to put a putter in your hand and I'm going to watch you absolutely just turn into like a toddler, just a giddy little kid spinning a disc at a target. And that's all it is. We're just spinning a disc at a target. And then I'd follow you around and walk around and give you some techniques about throwing it flat and straight. But I think that the biggest thing is all I have to do is put a disc in your hand, tell you to spin it, and then watch you just have the most joy feeling successful spinning it at a target, meaning a basket. It does it I don't have to do anything else then. I just watch you completely get overtaken by the joy of throwing a disc and how successful you feel throwing it at a target. It's like a cheat code to life. Playing disc golf is going to give you instant happiness no matter who you are.
I love that. And then lastly, if somebody wants more information or wants to help out, donate with UPlay, how do they do that?
Thank you so much for asking, Kyle. It's uplaydiscgolf.org, the letter U, Play. Disc is spelled with a C, DISC, golf.org. You can get on there and donate. You can get on there if you don't have resources to donate and fill out a volunteer form. People all over the world are donating their time by helping you play, whether you're a content creator, a graphic designer. Some people love fundraising. Nonprofits and specifically UPlay completely rely on fundraisers and angel donors. And then we just get this, the small granting from the PDGA, DGPT each year. But if you guys like the idea of people being happy and joyful, or for UPlay to provide joyful experiences to children, we've even revived so many teachers and adults. Get on to uplaydiscgolf.org and make a donation or fill out a volunteer form. Follow us too. Instagram and Facebook alike is at uplaydiscgolf. If you want to be part of the Good News Club, make sure to follow us.
Love it. Before we go, Levi Edvelson's watching and he has a comment. He says, "Love seeing your enthusiasm. You're amazing."
Thank you, Levy. And I can't wait to get back to Eastern Oregon. I'm looking forward to every time I come to town. I want to try to set up a little clinic, whether it's at the EOU course or down at the Bobolink doing kind of a book signing or in-store disc signing. I'll never forget all the love I have for Eastern Oregon, and I plan to share everything I can with my valley every time I'm home.
Awesome. Well, we sure appreciate you joining us and keep
absolutely.
tearing it up.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your passion. Thanks for And I was thinking that I'm sure that when you're playing, especially somebody new, you're training. I mean, while they're throwing, while they're spinning, is that what you call it? Yeah. That's all they're thinking about. They're not thinking about how depressed they are or what's going on or all they're they're just so that and man, we need more things like that in our lives where we're just thinking about the here and now and what's going on. So
yeah, being mindful in nature and having fun doing it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on so much, you guys. Looking forward to, coming back anytime. And maybe at the end of the year, I can give you guys a little recap about Colombia, the secondary Africa trip, and just how many more people we're hooking on joy and health.
Yeah, and if you're here in town, we'd love to have you in person in the studio.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. We'll make it happen.
All right.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. You want to get us out of here?
Yeah, let's get us out. On this day, which is the 11th of January. 1759, the first American life insurance company is incorporated in Philadelphia. So I know it was called First American Life Insurance. 1759, they had life insurance in America. Isn't that crazy? So who thought that up?
Well, and you wonder about the survivability of life in 1859.
1759.
1759,
Yes.
yeah.
1838, the first public demonstration of telegraph messages sent using dots and dashes at Speedwell Iron Works in Morristown, New Jersey, which is also called
Morse code.
by Samuel Morse and Alfred Vail. 1913, the first sedan-type car, the Hudson, goes on display at the 13th Auto Show in New York City. And then we'll just jump all the way to 2007 because nothing happened between 1913 and 2007. Author J.K. Rowling finishes the 7th and last Harry Potter novel in room 552 of the Balmoral Hotel in Edinburgh. So the very last Harry Potter book. 2024, which is today. This just was released today. This happened today. They published this today. A new study finds that the largest great ape, Gigantopithecus blackie, was 10 feet tall from southern China when extinct because of climate change between 215,000 and 295,000 years ago. This thing was 10 feet tall, and they have proof of it. That's big.
That is.
Could you imagine seeing an ape that was 10 feet tall?
No.
No. I mean, even ones today are intimidatingly large.
Right, yeah.
10 feet?
Yeah, that's
Ooh,
crazy.
No. The number one movie on this day in 2004 was Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Quote of the day comes from George Burns, and he says, "You can't help getting older, but you don't have to get old." Right?
That's true.
You can't help getting older, but you don't have to get old.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you to Zoe AnDyke. You played disc golf. What an awesome story. I love these heartfelt, like, local people that I grew up with that are making positive impacts in the world, in their community. And Zoe's one of those stories. I mean, she's amazing. Right? She's doing great things.
Well, and just to see her face light up as she talks
Loves
about
it. Passionate.
Yeah. Yep. And I can just see her with a group of youth.
Oh.
I mean, I bet she's just like
I have
crazy.
seen her with a group of youth. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I mean, just crazy effective. Yeah.
Yeah. When she was up at the high school, we went and filmed. I had her on the show. I made a video of and took a bunch of pictures. And she's just great with the kids. Her and Dustin, they work together really well. And this whole Uplay thing is just, I mean, it's opening up doors for people that. Look, I mean, she's putting discs in kids' hands in Africa, for crying out loud. It's awesome.
How fun is that?
Yeah, amazing.
All right. Hey, thank you, Eastern Oregon. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yep, right here.